Hi, this is the FrSky X10S. I want to talk about the switch locations in the rear of the transmitter on both sides. I'm a thumb flyer, and when you're flying thumbs, trying to get to this switch here, moving it forward, I'm notoriously bumping this switch forward. I cannot get that switch moved without knocking this guy. Same for this side. And when you look at the way they located these switches, they're really on the inside of the case. They're not only in this way, they're in from the back. I'm puzzled why they would do that. If you look at other radios, this is the Graupner MZ24 Pro. You can see the switch is on the outside of the case. There's nothing in the back. Very easy to get to the switch without knocking this. Same for this side. You can easily get to these switches without hitting this. They're near the edge of the case. I've got other radios here, the high-tech Aurora 9. You can see the same thing. The switch is pretty much on the outside. It's easy to get to. Nothing in the back. And I've got an old JR 9303 here. Same thing. This switch is a little bit inward, but nowhere near as much as the X10S. It's easy enough to get to these switches without rubbing against the front ones or knocking them by mistake. So, just curious if anybody else has noticed this, if they've done anything about it. I'm thinking about drilling a hole in the case and moving the switch outward. I was thinking about rotating the switch at a 45 counterclockwise so that the switch would be this way. I wouldn't have any problem bumping it at a 45, but I noticed that the switches sit on an indentation, or actually a bump in the case on the inside that keeps the switch aligned well. So it doesn't look like you could rotate the switch inside the case unless maybe you filed down that bump in there that it sits in. So I'm just curious what kind of feedback everybody else has with these two switches back here, because this is, to me, a poor design. I guess if you're a neck strap person or somebody flies with a tray, maybe that doesn't bother you then, but thumb flyers really can't get to these switches when you're flying thumbs. I can barely even reach the switch without bumping this first to get to it. The other thing that's an issue is all my radios, the spring-loaded switch is on this side, on the left side. And that's what I like to use as my telemetry switch, the momentary switch, is just bump it and get the readings out. So I'm wondering how many people have rotated those switches around also.